All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining this Team 3 focus discussion. It is exciting to have some new attendees this time, different virtual faces, we'll put it that way. Just to get us started off, I am Lewis Elliott. I am one of the leaders of Team 3. I've been refereeing, this is my 19th year. Probably my lowest volume year of refereeing for a while. Yeah, it's probably true for a lot of us. I'm a national referee assessor, and I still don't have that national referee instructor yet. I'm working on it. Yeah, and one of the things I get to do with Team 3 is coordinate these focus discussions, get different instructors in. So this year's theme, we started working on a theme. Our first few years of this, we kind of just said, let's be good referees. And we started getting a little creative and giving a focus to the year. So this year, our focus is what? Someone pipe up.
Was that a good idea?
Yeah, was that a good idea is our theme for the year. So we're focusing on critiquing ourselves, which maybe is something that is good right now because no one else is going to be around critiquing us. I promise I did not plan that ahead, but there you go. So that being said, we had our first focus discussion of the year was simply just introducing the broad topic and got a little bit into it. 2 weeks ago, Cindy was leading the focus discussion on thinking through gray areas. So that emphasis on being critical and really seeing what matters, what needs to get done. The laws have a part where they say that the laws are written for the pros, and sometimes the referees need to be flexible and thinking and interpretive, because especially at the youth level, you might run into situations where there isn't a correct answer in the law because you've just bent the situation so much. So this week, what we're doing, we thought we'd look at something that maybe is touched a little bit in the basic course, but to our knowledge, it isn't really retouched in any of our referee courses after that point, and that's free kicks from the whistle until the kick. So you all know that with the free kicks and whatnot, we talk plenty about positioning. We talk about what to do before you blow the whistle, how to figure it out, which is great. But there's a whole lot that goes on from the time that you blow the whistle to signal the offense and to award the free kick. There's a lot goes on between that point and when the play gets going again, when the free kick is taken. So we're going to be talking about that window. And now we're not specifically covering making the call or the correct positioning to get into for the free kick restart. The advanced course, the national course, do a great job on that. It's okay if you all want to talk about PKs. It's not going to be the focus. We're not going to go deeply into it, but if it comes up, let's have at it. But just to convince you that there's a whole lot going on between the whistle and the taking of the free kick, all of these images here happen between the whistle and the taking of the free kick. And now let me give you an example of this. Can be drawn out or this can be quick. So everyone take a look at this here. You will not hear any audio from the videos we played tonight, but you will see them. All right. There's your whistle, and there's your free kick. So as that blue team and the keeper figured out, it's important to pay attention. And look at that AR get caught off guard there too. He was not ready to go. But that's a heads up play by the players and a real good job there. So sometimes it's going to be quick, and sometimes, unfortunately, it will not be very quick. It'll be painfully slow. We can see up here on the left, sometimes you make that call and there's mayhem going on. It's difficult to get things going. You got to settle the whole game down. We can see in that clip, we got yellow players going at red players. The referee, to his credit, I believe that's Mark Geiger, he's getting in there trying to keep things calm. but he's got quite the melee on his hands there. If you look over toward the left, there's still a player burying his face in the ground, so he's also got to deal with that. You look in the middle here, and we have this referee working to settle this player down. Looks like she's trying to be pretty reasonable with her. More of a quiet word than harsh handling here. And over on the right, you see this referee is she's got to do misconduct. You know, we all know that happens between the whistle and the restart, and she's handling it. It got cropped off with the players refusing to face her there, but she got it handled. And then, of course, on the bottom left, we have to get out our spray cans before we can get that free kick going and set that wall. Yes, this is an outdated image on the bottom left because you get that many defenders in a wall, the kicking team will not be there. So you only see one color in that wall if you get that many. So what we're going to do is, remember, we talked about the decision-making process last time, pulled this straight from the advanced referee course. And this is what happens to decide whether you're going to make the call, and sometimes it straddles. It starts before the whistle. You may realize you need to whistle, and then you've got to figure out how to handle it, how to punish it, how to manage it, and then how to restart, and if there's going to be any misconduct. There are 4 steps here. Does anybody remember the 4 steps of the decision-making process?
Well, first one is Miller. It's just acknowledgement that something happened, right? So you have to. It's that visualization that that something that I need to make a decision on has happened.
So that's akin to defining the problem. Something's happened. This is what's happened. What's the second step?
Gather information.
Mm-hmm. And then you analyze it. It's good to have information. It's better to use it. Does anybody remember the third step? We're going to propose and evaluate options. Refereeing is thinking, and there are all sorts of ways you can go with the information you get, which hopefully leads us to a clear 4th step here. Anyone know the 4th step?
Taking action.
Indeed, we got to decide and implement the solution, and then we can move forward. So, very good. All right. Now, it might seem like a short window of time between the whistle and the free kick. And like I said, sometimes it is. What are some of the responsibilities we have in that period? And everybody just have at it here. Let us hear them.
Well, obviously, you have to deal with the problem at hand, right? So let's just say if it was a harsh challenge, you're going to have the person that was taken down as well as the person that promulgated the challenge, right? So you have that immediate action that you have to deal with.
All right.
Safety concerns.
Okay, such as?
If it's an immediate safety issue, concussion, you know, just immediate safety concerns of play.
Yeah, good point. We got 2 R's in attendance here. Can I hear from Rodney or Roy?
I'll jump in and say, give a signal.
Yes.
Yeah, determine the restart.
Very true. Thank you, Roy.
I'll add one more thing is that you, on every play, you really have to consider match temperature to see if you need to do something greater than just the call, right? Because that's your opportunity to communicate and settle things down, to kind of change the momentum.
Yeah, very true. All right, yeah. So, you know, some of these items are much more procedural, something that you would hope a first season referee could handle. So there's the signaling, there's getting injury handled, a safety concern handled, the location of the free kick, whether it's direct or indirect, having the wall at the right distance. Those are all pretty procedural things, and we're going to touch on those briefly. I think most of you are going to get them pretty quickly. But there are also things that take years and years of seasoning, and even these pro referees you see throughout this lesson, they're working on it still, and that's the match management, player management, misconduct, coach management, handling a wall, which thankfully is a little easier now, and then also working with your AR. But let's take a look. Let's start taking a look at one of the more procedural issues, signal. Why am I hitting on this one first?
That communicates to everyone what you're thinking.
Perfect. Thank you. It's you stopped the game, right? You blew your whistle. That's the whistle part of the whistle to kick. You blew your whistle. All the attention's on you. Sometimes it's dead obvious what's going on. Sometimes it's not. It's great to have that continuous habit of signaling. How long do any of you wait to signal? Do any of you put anything between the whistle and the signal?
So I was reflecting on that question. So it's our job basically to, when there's a break of the rule, right, an infraction of the rule, we're to call it. But at the same time, is we want to get the game started as fast as we can. So we need to keep that down to a minimum, right? At the time between when we blow the whistle and create that signal. Because if they want to do a fast restart, then that team that was afflicted, they're going to want to restart as fast as they can.
Well put. Well put.
I think I might want to do a quick check with my AR to see if they have something that they need to give me in terms of information. Just a real quick check.
Yeah, that's fair. As you're whistling, make that eye contact if you can. That's useful. Yeah, it should be pretty quick. To the point Miller said, you know, you want to get things going again, and unintentionally, you'll see this a lot. This is pretty topical. This is one I definitely want to put an emphasis on because I've seen Team 3 referees do it lately. It's easy to get lost in what's going on. So if you blew the whistle, sometimes you feel you need to manage the player, let them know what you called, why you don't want them doing it again, which is all good, right? That's something we start off with in the basic referee course. As your regional referee, you know, part of this is coaching, educating, letting these players grow, helping them grow, letting them know what you're punishing and how they can avoid doing it in the future. And that can start to take up a lot of time, and we can forget as referees that the signal didn't happen. And sometimes they're left milling around. Sometimes the wrong team at the higher levels gets clever, tries to take the ball. I said, they haven't pointed direction yet. You see this a lot with thrones, especially. Free kicks are usually not that bold, but I've seen them try it plenty of times at free kicks. So you want to let them know. So I was actually watching a Team 3 referee do this just earlier this year, and I heard some good insight because it's something that I've noticed before, and it's been difficult to peg down really how to make it stick. And Millie got pretty close to it. So this is paraphrasing. This is from my memory, but the team awarded the free kick has already been disadvantaged. Do not disadvantage them further by making them wait to know they have been awarded a free kick. So that was Bob Hurwich. Many of you know Bob. He is currently the Section 10 Director of Referee Assessment, longtime Section 10 referee administrator. So that was a pretty good insight from him. I liked it put that way. Don't be part of that team being disadvantaged. In making that call and giving them that free kick, you are acknowledging that they have been disadvantaged. So put the end to the disadvantage that they've been suffering, and get the hand up quickly, and get it going again. Let them know what's going. Now you'll see in the upper left here, what's our referee here signaling?
An indirect free kick restart.
Dead on. All right. So for our types of free kicks, we know we got the direct and the indirect. We'll jump past that, but then we look down here to the indirect free kick signal. The referee indicates an indirect free kick by raising the arm above the head. This is a signal maintained until the kick has been taken and the ball touches another player, goes out of play, or it is clear that a goal cannot be scored directly. That yellow underlined section is new this year. So you can put your arm down before those other criteria now. The final point here is pretty important. An indirect free kick must be retaken if the referee fails to signal that the kick is indirect and the ball is kicked directly into the goal. Essentially what the law is saying there is it's your fault they didn't know it was indirect. So the kicking team doesn't get punished. They did what anybody would expect in soccer, try to score a goal, and they succeeded. Or they didn't, but you're going to give them another shot and let them know why it's indirect. So if you don't get that hand up and they put the ball directly into the goal, it's being taken again. That's the main procedural one out of the way. We aren't going to spend so much time on the procedurals after this. It's going to be a little more engaging, but that is an important one, and I made sure to put that in here. For certain attendees, I hope who are coming, they have been consistent recently, but they didn't show up tonight. But anyway, there you go. All right, so we've got management. There were five topics that need to be managed, and this is where as a referee you can really say, was that a good idea? Did I do the match management well? Did I handle the injury efficiently, safely? And did I do player management well? We'll talk about the difference between match management and player management. And how did I handle the misconduct and the coach management? Which of these gives you all the most trouble?
I'm going to say coach management because I'm reflecting on the high school, past high school season, because no matter what you do to administer the play, it's always delaying the play restart if I have to address the coach. And I'm taking the advantage away from the attacking team, right? And so the defensive team will tend to jump up, and because they know strategically that they can do that.
Definitely, you have to be mindful to that gamesmanship there. I like that. That's a good point.
I would say match management, because that's what you're doing all the time throughout the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw that photo early on with the referee in the middle of a yellow cloud and a red cloud, and they were coming at each other. That's when you made the right call. Something went very wrong. Everyone recognized it, and now you have to help settle that situation down. Good point. Do any of these seem exceptionally easy compared to the others in the group?
I think an injury is typically not something you want to see, but it's pretty straightforward to manage from a game perspective. It's easy to determine if a player is truly injured and needs, assistance, be it by a coach or a medical professional, or if the player can just, rub some dirt on it, as we say, get up and continue and play. So in that situation, the determination is typically very quick, whether you're going to need to, hold the game, and It's just assessing the situation.
Yeah, all right, good to hear. I know, Roy, you handle injuries very well. Let's see if I can show you all some nuance to handling injuries in a game. Let's watch this clip, and we'll have as much time as we want to rewatch it. Watch the handling of this injury. And again, I'm sorry, there's no audio coming through from the video. But it's all pretty straightforward from what you see going. Yes, I sped that up. So as this went down, what were some of the things that we see that went well in this injury situation? How did the referee team do a good job managing it?
Referee, first of all, ran, or jogged, to the position of that player. So he didn't seem complacent, or, he had a certain sense of urgency about that, which everybody wants to see, parents, coaches. As soon as, again, no sound, but as soon as the player signals, to his bench side that they're going to need a substitution, the referee turns around, motions the coach over. At the same time, the AR, is progressing up the field, going towards the bench. He sees that a substitution is, ready at the halfway line. Presumably, by authorization from the referee, during a pregame, the AR motions the new player to come on the field. And as the camera pans out to the left, we see that the injured player has since left the field on the opposite side and is still sitting down. So, by the book, quick. There's no issue with time wasting here. Now, player seems to be genuinely hurt. Wants to get off the field. A new one comes in. Again, by the book. May they all be this easy.
What does anybody notice as we see the referee again? What's noteworthy about what we see here?
He's facing the field. He's facing the rest of the player. He's no longer needs to deal with the injury. That's as soon as the coach came on the field. It's the coach's issue to deal with. The referee now has 21 other players to worry about.
Very good point. There are two other great things this referee's doing here.
The picture seems to be a bit hazy, but it seems like he's addressing the person that created the injury itself. But you'll have to forgive me. I can't. It's not clear enough for me.
If anybody's having trouble, I know this video might be coming through with some lag. I did put in the chat a link to download these videos. So that might play a little more smoothly for you. This is video 1. But yeah, good point, Miller. He is talking with another player. He's managing the situation. That's one that wasn't in my mind, so I still have two more things I like that he's doing. Let's see if anyone else wants to take a stab.
He's not engaging the coach.
How so? And why does that matter?
He's moving away. He's moving away so the coach doesn't have an easy opportunity to complain or cause any kind of a problem.
Does that happen often?
And if you leave the opportunity open, yeah, they'll generally take the opportunity.
It's a heated situation for them, right? One of their players just got injured. Even if they got the call, maybe they want misconduct, they want you to keep their players safe, something like that. it's very helpful for there to be this inverse relationship between your distance from the injured player and the coach's distance from the injured player. So as Roy pointed out, the referee comes in to the injured player early. It shows some urgency. If you follow a play of the Fortnite series, which sort of has some highlight plays, there is one on there where Roy is the referee, and it is about how he shows concern for an injured player, and he comes in quickly. So yes, this referee does come in quickly, show concern, and then he turns to beckon the coach onto the field to handle the injury. And then as the coach comes, the referee's gone. And he's done one other thing that I really like here. He's got the ball. He's got control. He's ready to get things going again as soon as the players are ready to go, as soon as the coach is off the field, as soon as the injured player's off the field. So then he's ready. He's got the ball. He's not in the location of the restart. He is deliberately away from the location of the restart, and we see that as he sees the coach leaving, he finishes his conversation with the player in white, and then he starts making his way down to number 18 in green here to give him the ball and get that restart going again. So all in all, pretty efficient here, and hats off to the coach as well. A lot of coaches will try to drag that player across the field. So this is both sides of the story getting things done. Yeah, so that's very valuable to keep your distance from the coaches, to heat the situation, relieve some of the pressure that's in that situation, and get away. You can go talk with the player that committed the foul. That doesn't need to be especially stern. Here it was just a calm word. Both sides will take that differently. The side of the white team in this case, you'll see the referees being reasonable with the player, not being especially stern. There was no caution send off there. But the green team and their spectators will see that the referee at least cared enough to track down that player. And then the other thing, as Roy touched on, the AR does a fantastic job here. The AR realizes they want to swap out, and this tournament allows substitutions. So the AR is mindful that this substitute is going to want to go in, and he holds the substitute until the referee beckons them on, and then he lets that player know the referee's beckoned him on. So it's just great team management here, and you still got the other AR. You can't hear with the audio, but he was checking in and working to help smooth the situation along. So just all in all, a well-handled injury situation. So there is some nuance. It can be easy to get right, especially if you got a coach like in this situation who's really on top of managing his team. All right, this next one is kind of the escalation. I tried to escalate all these. So we have player management coming up here. So watch the player management here. Losing the audio from this one does take something away from it. So as something meaningful is said, I will reiterate it to you. All right, so 15 white nods, and then right now his teammates are telling him to let it go. So as the referee's trying to settle him down, his teammates are helping along, so the referee continues to handle it that way. All right, pretty quick clip here. What do we see that we like? What's that referee doing that's productive? That's a good idea.
First of all, the proximity to play, is great. He's, right on top of that, 5 yards away, nobody can tell him, that he didn't see what he saw, and as soon as, he calls it, he immediately addresses, that player while that player is still looking at him, even though that player is, walking away. But given that, that player is walking away and, the orange team does not seem to be, overly confrontational, everybody just is walking to the ball. They know the restart, and everybody's walking away. White team is not trying to delay the restart in any way, shape or form. Then there's no need for the referee to create any conflict where none exists. Just, keep going, keep the I think Miller mentioned that, keep the game going.
Spot on.
One
yeah.
thing I noticed, he seems to very efficiently just check and make sure the ball's there in the correct spot and before he heads away.
Definitely.
One more, advantage of being right on top of the ball, when you call a foul, is that it's hard for the defending team to come stand right in front of you. If you're standing on the ball, right, they most of the time they would not come stand right in front of the ball, because that just means that they're nose to nose with you. So he is essentially, by walking away from the ball, forward, he is essentially marking, and they know that there's no point in lagging behind him. They're just looking for trouble.
Yeah, it's perfect, Roy. That clip is in our last play of the fortnight, this same field, this same tournament, where a teammate of the player that committed the offense steps right in front of where the free kick will be taken and decides he suddenly needs to tie both his shoes very thoroughly. Yeah, this game was contentious. The orange team here is actually a 16U team, quite skillfully trouncing the 19U team or 18U team in white. And there were some heated tensions there. So I liked how the referee calmly handled this one. He's doing it all with a smile on his face. And the teammates are helping out, so hats off to the teammates. They're doing well. Sorry, you're all hearing my dog snore. Oh, I guess the snoring's going to keep going because she's not waking up. All right, we'll move on to the next one. So this is an escalation to misconduct. We're getting a lot of repeat referees in these clips, and actually I found as I picked them all out, they were all from 2016. So that caution was for dissent. All right, what do we like about that one?
So part of your communication when you have a reckless challenge, right, a cardable offense, you need to address your player very quickly, right? So the referee went up to that player in short time, and immediately, it sounds like it was a quick conference, showed the card, and then moved on.
He also maintained, virtually maintained the humanity in this. He did not the referee did not escalate beyond what was necessary. In fact, you can see that blonde player, visibly very quickly calming himself down after the card. But the referee keeps, he adds, 2 or 3 more quiet words. Even taps him on the shoulder. It seems like, they're both okay with what happened, the outcome, and they're moving on.
He even gets a handshake right there. It's remarkable.
Yeah, this is nothing is lingering. Yeah, and here, hand on the shoulder, and it's, here we go.
Definitely, they both come out of this looking like they handled it very well. The player receiving the caution took it very maturely, and the referee had the class to be able to. This is a textbook caution right here, because 100% misconduct aside, cautions don't often do you much. Cautions aren't worth giving unless they earn you something. Let me put it that way. Again, 100% misconduct aside. So this is one where you can see immediately it settles the player down. And it shows that the referee is going to handle this and handle it fairly. The player still isn't happy about what occurred, but he accepts that the referee is handling it. So I do really like how this is handled. Now we actually cut that clip before we got to the kick because there was a substitution occurring. And this gets back to that AR check that Cindy pointed out earlier. It's very valuable to check your ARs. So this referee could have burned all the time writing down his misconduct and then acknowledging the substitution request. So hats off to this referee, right? For as he comes to get the free kick in place and start recording his misconduct, he sees his AR signaling for substitution request and acknowledges that that may go forward. And then we've got some good economy of time here where the substitution occurs and the referee gets his writing done, and then about the same time, everybody's ready to go again. So very well handled on the part of the referee, and again, mature player. We've got just some sunshiny, optimistic clips here of coaches and players and referees all working together. So this next one, of course, is going to be an escalation again. This is the example I decided to bring tonight for the match management situation. This one gets lengthy. You don't miss anything with the audio because they're 50 yards across the field. So that was a red card for a second caution. And this is one of my favorite clips that we've ever recorded with Team 3. These two are twins, and they're trying to convince the referee that the first caution was to the other twin. So they're trying to convince him there should not have been a send-off. And the referee in no way doubts himself. He knows which one. Actually, they're both sitting on cautions already, but they did try to pull that. And the referee stays calm in that knowledge. All right, that's our longest clip of the night. What do we like about this one? What was a good idea in there?
I like that AR came to his supporting side when people were starting to get kind of shuffly and maybe noticing that they were coming to question him. He came to his support.
Yeah, as he starts getting kind of surrounded, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else do we like?
Well, it looks like he's signaling out the sole player and trying to keep the others away. And that's important for managing the situation, right? Because the goal of other players is to try to confuse or take some of the attention away, right? So in that attempt, which it looked like it was difficult because there were a lot of players going in and out, he was doing as best as he could to do that.
Definitely a difficult situation here.
And I like just a little bit later in the clip here where he definitely gives a definitive signal that no, yeah, I think it's going to be right here. You need to leave the field. Makes it clear for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Two things that kind of come to me. The first one is the shorter blonde player, the one that is currently pointing. He actually rushes in to calm things down, and separate his own teammates, from the referee. I don't know if he was a captain, but that shows maturity. In the beginning, you can see him pushing the kid away, is trying to handle that. That to me is a good, if indeed 77 there's a captain, that's a guy that I would say thank you for, intervening there and being mature. The one thing I would try to improve on is, right now, both the AR and the referee are facing the bench. And that means that there's only one pair of eyes on the rest of the fields. If you just turn around and kind of take this, take this group, essentially turn them around 180 degrees. So you're facing the field, they can be facing you. You can have the same discussion, but still be aware of what's going on in the rest of the field.
Very fair. Very fair. And then it'd be easier to keep everybody in front of you instead of getting surrounded.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be a very effective.
You can also step off the field yourself, and that kind of as the unspoken thing. You don't follow me off the field, because now it's the same thing that we're taught to do, in whistling a penalty kick, right? You kind of send back, across the goal line for a second, just to make sure, nobody's, following you there. We saw that, in the last session's, video on, how we administer that. Again, this could be just the only improvement that I can see in the behavior here, but otherwise, again, very well handled.
Yeah, that's a very effective high-level maneuver tactic that Roy's getting out there. And yeah, we mostly see it with penalty kicks, but it would have been ideal here because the touchline is right there for him to use. So essentially what the referee does is they back their way off the field. And when you see the pro referees do this, they will clearly gesture with their hand that nobody is crossing that line to come off the field. And then they may call a captain or two off. It's a great thing to do if you're conferring with your AR. Draw that clear line as you back off the field. If you want to use that mechanism to give you space, it's very effective, because again, there's a clear line there on the ground. So
I might add one more suggestion, and that is he could find a better place for his cards so he doesn't have to look through his wallet to pull out the right one.
You'll see as this red card comes out, he's got his cards separate from his wallet. I think what he's doing is making sure, because he recognizes that they're twins. They're actually both the coach's son. He's double checking his numbers, because this was a second caution leading to a send off. And of course, this one was just earned outright. I believe it was for his offensive, insulting, or abusive language at that moment. Yeah, good point, Chris. Thank you.
All right. One thing that kind of that disappoints me, in this is that the adults in this situation, the coach, the assistant coach, they're not escalating things, but they show, no effort to control their own players.
Yeah, actually, the coach, the touch line for the red team is the touch line that we're filming from. And
Yeah.
I was the AR on that
Okay.
side, and I can tell you, I was spending all of my efforts trying to de-escalate the coach who was just screaming.
Yeah, so that was one slip up on the referee's part. He was pointing them off the wrong touch line. So that is the white team's touch line that you see right there.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we did not get a restart. We did not get a free kick after this. The coach threw his fit and abandoned the match, forfeited the match.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
unfortunately,
scratch the last one.
On and on and on. Just a showing from that family. You can see the rest of the teams. They've seen this tried before. Everyone's frustrated. You got two over on the left sitting down, not engaging at all. They think it's ridiculous, and you can see the two over to the referee's right. They've kind of had enough of it. I think this isn't the first time this has happened, and I think that was confirmed for us after the game. This write-up took a while. All right.
In this situation, would it be appropriate for him to point to the nearest touch line for the players to leave the field? As opposed to going all the way across to his home side touch line.
Yeah, and so we recently had that clarification in the laws that an injury, as you saw in the earlier clip with the injury, should go off the nearest boundary line to get things moving more quickly. Don't drag an injured player all the way across the field. However, an injured player being on the opposing touch line is a different situation than a recently sent off player being on the opposing touch line. So especially in the AYSO setting, and, in the pro setting, they're going to head towards the locker room anyway, which is going to be behind the team benches, and they also have they have to go take their applause from their fans unless they're the away team. So I'd say in the AYSO situation, it's a send off. Let's give it a little extra time. We could all use the breather anyway. Send off is rarely taken calmly. So yeah, valid question. I would say let's keep them to their side so things don't escalate, regardless of the fact that they need to leave the area of the field before you get going again. Good question. So there's one more management technique or aspect, I should say, that we haven't covered yet, and that is coach management. Like I said, we have some repeats. You will recognize this referee from earlier. All right, that was actually from a previous play at Fortnite. But what were some of the good ideas we like here?
Referee has his back to the touch line facing the field, so he sees all the players while he's talking to the coach.
Very well handled there. Does anyone know? Go ahead, Roy.
He points to his whistle, right before he leaves for the touch line to make, make it very clear to everyone that the restart is going to be on the whistle, so there would not be a quick restart here.
And that's a great move for a ceremonial free kick as well, right, Roy?
Yeah, exactly.
Oops.
I like that he lets the coach blow off steam, say his piece before he tells him it's enough.
Yeah, and also walks there nice and slow, so there's no rush, calms everything down. I mean, the coach, again, to his credit, doesn't seem too belligerent, at least.
He's not quite ready to let it go, but he does accept somewhat what's being told. So in addition to watching the field here, what's valuable about this orientation? What else? The orientation of the referee to the coach.
It's not confrontational, because if you face the person you're talking with, that can be more positional, and you're trying to gain some type of power over that person, right? So by creating an open stance, it's more of a conversation, which that's okay. You can always turn to the coach if you need to make a point of emphasis, right? But it's an open position. It's not confrontational.
Spot on. Thank you. All right. Is there anything else we'd like to say about this clip here?
So I'm actually thinking about pregame, and in the high school season that we just finished. It's really important for your ARs to work with you anytime that you're addressing a player or addressing a coach, because there's a lot of extracurricular activity that can happen on the playing field, and so it becomes very important to address that in the pregame to make sure you're watching behind the referee's back.
Good point. Yeah. And this referee's very comfortable with this AR. They were doing just that. I'll let it wind out here. I just want to point out how the referee, he's ready to go. He sets his wall distance, whistle, and we're going right away. So we've had it with that interference, and we're moving on again. Very productive. So there we go. We hit our management aspects for the game. We had match management, which got very complicated in that one. It was a very difficult, heated situation that the referee handled calmly. We did have some refinements to it. There's the injury. The referee did a great point of keeping himself in control. He took the ball, moved away from the coach, gestured the sub in, got the ball back into position, ready to kick. That was good of him. Then there was the player management. I'm drawing a blank on where a player management clip was. I think after doing it 15 times, there we go. All right, this was the player management one. The referee let the teammates help him keep things calm. So good job on him there. He was right on the spot for the foul. It was a perfect opportunity. The misconduct we saw, fantastic job by the referee, and hats off to the mature player for acknowledging, respecting each other. Very effective card there. Well done. And then the coach management. Sometimes you just show mutual respect, ask, tell, and then hopefully you can get on the same page before you have to go any further. So we'll move on to our AR consultation. Why would we need to get with AR between the whistle and the free kick?
Selling the call.
Especially what type of call, Miller?
PKs, anything in the critical, any match critical situation where it could result in a finish and a potential score and goal, any very severe challenge, or if we've taken a pretty important advantage away from an attacking team.
Yes, that can be very helpful. Sometimes you don't have the full picture, right? You need to talk to them, get some input. Is often helpful, is rarely harmful. Usually good advice to do it. So let's look at what the laws say about positioning and teamwork. For those of you that use the app, you're going to be expecting the navy blue background. But I got this from the PDF version where they still have the white background. But let's take a look here. When dealing with disciplinary issues, eye contact and a basic discrete hand signal from the AR to the referee may be sufficient. When direct consultation is required, the AR may advance 2 to 3 meters onto the field of play if necessary. When talking, the referee and AR should both face the field of play to avoid being heard by others and to observe the players and field of play. So great point that Roy hit on earlier, that they're going to be facing the field of play. And, you know, sometimes you're going to need to speak directly. We'll see professional referees do it even though they have earpieces on. They will take the time, as Miller said, to sell the call. Go talk with each other, make it visible. Not everyone's going to key in on the same things if the referees are just talking via their earpieces. Any questions on that one? You'll find that toward the back of the book in the practical guidelines. It's a useful section.
The one thing that was just to make a point, just to make a point, just kind of reflecting on some of the games I've done in the last months before COVID. So there are times when the AR has a better position on angle or has seen a play that, say, me as a referee, I haven't seen. And so that relationship in, first of all, being comfortable to make a match critical call, and then having that consultation, you know, in terms of selling the call, but the AR can have some wonderful information really to share and to help you officiate the match.
Yes, good point. All right, this is a clip from another recent play of the fortnight. Again, we just got some highlight referees this week. Seeing a lot of familiar faces here. So yeah, what you're missing here is the dark blue 82 is saying, no, I was fouled. That's a big 14U player. And then we're going again. So the consultation was pretty quick, pretty efficient. See how the referee hung on, signaling his direction? He was ready to do it, but then he said, all right, let's check with AR, because the AR flagged the same offense. Getting on the same page. What do we think about this one?
I think since he waited to give direction, he should make sure it's a ceremonial kick to make sure the defense has time to get in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know from the clip whether he actually did that, but that's a very good point. Now, do you want to elaborate on the ceremonial free kick? We've mentioned it a few times, and I realized it may not be a completely common term. So what do you think? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, that means that play will not restart until the referee blows their whistle. They assure that all the players are adequate distance away, and that the players have been, had adequate opportunity to get in position, and then they blow their whistle.
Yeah,
I think I'd really like to see that more frequently, like if for referee signals the wrong direction, say right after halftime or something, and then they correct themselves pretty quickly. Often it gets the players, they put their head down after the first signal and then they go quickly the other direction. Sometimes it's a disadvantage for the team.
Definitely, it's great to see the referee sit on the ball there, give a couple quick blasts on the whistle, make sure everybody knows that the referee is he or she are owning the position, the direction. They made a mistake, and then let everybody get back in position because they might have put their heads down and started running to where they thought they needed to be. That's a good point. Yeah, and then a ceremonial free kick in its own right can be useful. If you've got one near the goal, you want to set up a wall, make sure everything's going well. You want to check on a potentially injured player. Ceremonial free kick isn't much more than one saying that you need a whistle, which brings us perfectly into our next point. When do you need a whistle to restart?
At a kickoff, at a penalty kick, and any other time where you've decided that for whatever reason you are not going to allow a quick restart.
Well put. Any others? I don't believe this is even on the national test.
There's a restart after injury.
Yes, that's one of them. I think there are two more we haven't touched yet.
There's a restart after misconduct.
There you go. I'll give you all the list. Here we go. All right, so let's skip past the start play and stop play. Let's jump to down here, restart play. So free kicks when the appropriate distance is required. That requires a whistle. Usually you'll point your whistle, so hang on everyone. Penalty kicks, pretty obvious one there. And then when you've stopped for a caution or sending off, or stopped including a caution or send off, is worth putting. I think that's a better way to put that one. Sometimes you'll stop for something else and end up with a misconduct. You never know. They pop out of nowhere sometimes. The injury, often because that's been a long break, right? And maybe people have checked out, looking at different parts of the field. Whistle helps everybody know we're getting back together. And the substitution, which again can be a long pause. All right. And then of course, we got a few more. This is when the whistle is not needed to restart play from most free kicks, goal kick, corner kick, throw and drop ball, etc. And of course, as Roy pointed out, anytime you deem that you need to wait for your whistle, they'll wait for your whistle because you're in charge. It's one of the nice things about being a referee. And it's worth pointing out that if the referee wants the players to wait for the whistle before restarting play, regardless of the reason, the referee must clearly inform the attacking players to wait for the whistle. So don't just expect them, even at the professional level, they put this in the laws. Don't just expect them to know it, let them know. All right, so just to run a quick recap on that, our responsibilities in the brief or protracted period, depending on the situation, between the whistle and the free kick, we've got our signal, which we know should happen quickly. We've got our match management when the mayhem is going on. We got the injury, try to have an inverse relationship with the coach on who's close to the injured player. Give that coach their space so that you don't entice them to bring dissent toward you. There's player management, which can be in all the different levels that manifests. There's misconduct, which can be quick and effective, can be painful and long. There's the coach management, which hopefully goes well. Getting the free kick location right, I think that we kind of all just took that a given. Didn't have any videos I thought were worth saying. Here's how you get the free kick position right. You all pretty much know how to do that. Indirect free kick versus direct free kick and why it's important to raise your hand. And now we're allowed to bring it down earlier than we used to be in certain situations. And then we've got the get in the wall. We didn't dedicate a lot of time to that because that one gets a lot of time anyway. I wanted to hit on the things that don't get so much attention. And then the AR check, which can be very valuable, adding a lot to it for you. So is there anything anyone else wants to add in to this conversation for tonight? All right, well, thank you very much, everybody, for attending and making another good folks discussion. We will be hosting another one in 2 weeks. Miller Newland on being a proactive referee, right?
Actually, we're going to do the advantage in 2 weeks, and you and I are going to do proactive refereeing in about 6 weeks.
Yes, there you go. All right, so we have Miller Newland to look forward to. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for attending.